review. So there's Rosemary, and look, it just seems appropriate. And I know not everybody goes to mass, and I know not everybody knew Eddie Daly, but there's a sense, and I haven't felt it in Derry really since Jerry Anderson passed. That sense of a collective moment, a sense of a just a solid human being and a person who touched many lives, even the lives of those they did not know. So tomorrow, once again, we'll be focusing on the life and passing of Bishop Edward Daly, and of course on Thursday then the attention will focus on his being laid to rest in his beloved St Eugene's Cathedral. As I say, just as it happened to arrive today, they were preparing his grave at the front door, as close as he could physically be to St Eugene's. So there you go, Martin Bradley. So Martin, understandably, thank you for yesterday. I mean, obviously,
not at all. I understood completely. I just want to say, I remember Rosemary as a student nurse. She nursed with my wife, Attracta.
Yes. Martin, I know, I mean, Attracta would have been, not very close, but I mean, your dear wife and a nurse of many years standing, and it's hard to find a family in Derry that this man didn't touch.
Well, Attracta's family had a great relationship with Father Daly because they lived in Craigan Street, right across the street from them. He was their parish priest. Never out of that. They were always up and down, knew them well. And Attracta's had a lot of time for Bishop Daly, and they had one of the stories is that Attracta was involved as a first aid volunteer with the Knights of Malta.
Was she there on Bloody Sunday?
She was, aye.
Yes.
Oh, she was, aye. Although it was so traumatic, for years she blanked what she did, totally out of her memory. She couldn't remember a single thing that happened. Mm-hmm. It all came back later on, But herself and there was a policeman in the early 70s, I can give his name now, Danny Barr, who was from Derry. He was back in Laburnum Terrace, and a crowd spotted him, gathered around him, and his life was in danger. And Father Daly came along with another priest and took him to, there was a first aid post at that time operating in St Mary's School in Craigan, and Attracta was one of the people in the first aid post. Mm-hmm. And a lot of negotiations had to be gone through because the IRA at that time were looking for him. And Father Daly had obviously connections everywhere. And an arrangement was made to take him in an ambulance to Attracta. Said that this man, he needs treatment and he needs to go to hospital. So the arrangement was he would go to Letterkenny rather than Altony Galvin. That was a compromise. And they had this, herself, Father Daly, and another mysterious man that they never found out exactly who he was, travelled through the night to Letterkenny. And this hair-raising journey, they were there all night, eventually get back. And they thought they were going to be shot at coming across the border and all of this, So she was up all night, student nurse at the time, and was afraid to tell her mother what had happened. She was still living in the house. So she went down to the cathedral and met Father Daly, just to check how he was and for him to see how she was after the event. And she persuaded him to go over to her mother to explain what had happened. And once he said, what had happened, once he spoke up for her, that was it. Her mother says, that's grand. She accepted everything. So there are numerous stories. There are hundreds and hundreds of stories out there still to be told.
Just embedded.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, just beggars belief, some of the stuff we've heard this week, Martin, and thank you for that. But anyway, listen, Martin Bradley, as regulars will know, is our man normally at the movies. Martin, I see the rating on this first one. It's called Suicide Squad. It's the Will Smith and Jared Leto, the new film. Uh-huh. And on social media, they're absolutely